I made a fake one.
How long have the Morphin Masters been around? And how long has the Morphin Grid been around? The homie Byron Weaver asked me this question, and now today I'm asking you, what are your thoughts? What do you think? I am going to tell you my thoughts and then go through the comments on a thread that I asked you guys this just a few days ago, and you guys gave me some good ideas too. So, as we know, the Morphin Masters are pretty much the creator of the powers. Now, we aren't 100% sure if they actually created the grid itself, but we know that the Morphin Masters kind of hang out in the Morphing Grid and they create all of the power-ups, morphers, different things that we know to this day. They at least help with the power. Now, there's been a few seasons that they argued that maybe didn't have anything to do with the Morphin Masters, but for the sake of this, let's just say the Morphin Masters are like the Eternals of Power Rangers, and they're also like gods, and they do help out the Rangers every once in a while, and they create the powers that the Power Rangers use to stop the villains. So they don't necessarily stop the evil themselves, but they're the battery packs, if you will. They keep the Rangers going and keep those powers flowing so they can actually use them to stop the Rangers. So how long have these Power Rangers, or how long have these Morphin Masters been around? Now, I believe that these Morphin Masters have been around maybe since the beginning of time, or since there was a first sighting of evil. So I know like 65 million years ago, 100 million years ago, whenever your first villain showed up, so either it be the Sporix Beast or Rita Repulsa or Dark Spectre or the Machine Empire, anybody like that, even I can't think of his name, but this is always fun to ask you guys for trivia. Who was the Aquatar Rangers? I can see him now. He was like a water villain, but what was his name? You know, what if he was the first villain? There's so many villains out there that you could be like, oh, Master Vile could have been the first villain, and that might be a video someday. Who was the first villain? But I believe whenever the evil monsters showed up at some part in the universe, the Morphin Masters were then created, and that's a great story too. Were the Morphin Masters the original Power Rangers, and then they just kind of became gods after that, if you will, and were tied to the Morphing Grid because someone had to be. Like after they died or something, did their spirit flow through the Morphing Grid and was taken over by it, so they're still kind of living beings in a way. So that is a crazy topic and something that I didn't even know I was going to think of until, you hit record, and sometimes these things just come to you. And this is a freestyle format. I do have notes and things that I go off of, but we're also freestyling here, and those are some of the best videos. So what do you guys think? How do you think the Morphin Masters came to be? Do you think they could be Power Rangers? How long do you think the Morphin Grid's been around? How long do you think the Morphin Masters have been around? Now, I think the Morphing Grid was created before the Morphin Masters, or did the Morphin Masters create the grid? Ooh, like are these your first crew of like sorcerers or Power Rangers, or the beings that originally helped the Power Rangers? There's a lot. Are these the original team way back, 65 million years ago, hundreds of millions of years ago? Is this like their parents that protected them and showed them what to do, and now their spirit is in the Morphing Grid? Now, the Morphing Grid pretty much is an energy field that is connected to good. Now, we've seen over the years Rangers tap into the Morphing Grid to be evil because they're taken over, but usually at the end of the day, it is for good. It's not for evil, right? It's on the light side, not the dark side. Now, every once in a blue moon, you'll get a Tommy, you'll get a Merrick, you'll get someone that's evil for a little bit and does use the Morphin Grid. And we get it. It happens from time to time, but still, I believe that this is good energy coming from the feeling and will to do the right thing. And it's a powerful energy. And I don't know exactly how it got created or how long it's been there, but we can either put it before the Morphin Masters. I'd like to say the Morphin Masters helped create it, that something crazy happened and their good deed kind of created an energy within the universe. Or is it like is it like man-made, or is it something that's magical that's always been there even before Earth? They could say, well, the Morphin Grid actually created Earth. Like, it's so powerful. It's basically like a god within itself. It's just positive energy everywhere, and people try to use it for evil, but at the end of the day, good always wins. I don't know. And there's also a question to be said. If there is a Morphin Grid before everything else, like, was there a battle for the Morphin Grid and these people promised to protect it and kind of look over the whole grid? I don't know. There's 1,001 ideas, and Hasbro, if you're listening, please make some type of show about the Morphin Grid. Like, I would love to see more about it in the comics, which they are covering, but dang, let me get a show out of this. Let me get like a prequel 8 to 10 episode show about the Morphin Masters and the Morphin Grid. It would be a good time, and us fans would eat that up. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. There's a lot going on in this episode, but the real questions are, how long have the Morphin Masters been around? And how long has the Morphin Grid been around? Like, how do you think the Morphin Grid got created? Was the Morphin Masters, were the Morphin Masters like Power Rangers? Were they like the OG Rangers? There's a lot of questions here. I want to hear from you. Shout out to Byron again for asking this question. I love when I get good questions. I sometimes link them out to you. Now, our turn right here is to go to the comments and see what you guys are saying. So, Furnace said, interesting. The Morphin Grid, Morphin Masters, Power Eggs, etc. were all throwaway terms in Mighty Morphin Season 1 that all spiraled into deep lore. The Morphin Masters and Power Eggs were just a creative way to use footage of the Human Rangers from Jew Ranger at the end when they got an uncanny looking puppet dinosaur eggs in their finale. Another instance of this was Zordon Soldier in the episode Happy Birthday, Zach. Oh, dude, I loved that, man. I absolutely love seeing that. I was like, who is that? Was that Zordon? In terms of the grid, it's always been around. It's like the Force from Star Wars. You can actually physically feel it, and it's also sentient to some degree. Troy with his dreams, and Devin for seeing the Dino team up show us that the grid can give people visions. Wow, guys. If you read the comments, you'll know that the Morphin Master Squadron Rangers can transform into any of the future teams that succeeded them, because the grid is like a memory bank for all the Rangers that have ever existed, and they can be accessed in any point in time. That's what allows creation of the Ranger keys too. Example being how we see SPD and Super Mega Force and Beast Morphers when it hasn't even taken place yet. The Morphin Masters are protectors of the grid. Each one guards a dimension in the multiverse. Green Morphin Master guards the main TV timeline, which is everything excluding RPM and Dino Charge. So Mighty Morphin through Jungle Fury, plus Samurai through Mega Force and Ninja Steel and Dino Fury onwards. Other dimensions would have to have them like the 2017 movie, the Mighty Morphin movie from 95, the Prime Dimension of the Boom Comics, the RPM and Dino Charge dimensions too, along with whenever the new Hasbro live action original project is going. Wow. Hey, shout out Furnace. you not only schooled me, but I think you put out a lot of good stuff for the fans. There were some things in here I didn't know and some things that like I knew, but you brought that to light. I haven't thought about Troy's dream since, man, it's what, 2012, 2013? Holy crap. Good look on that. I love that. Jay Edit says the Morphin Masters and the Morphin Grid were around like 65 million years ago when they appeared to help the original Dino Fury Rangers. They were around for a lot longer than that, though, maybe since the beginning of time. Who knows? Kendrick says the Morphin Grid has been around forever, and the Morphin Masters are people who have mastered the power of the grid. I like that. So, like, are they original Rangers then? I love this idea. Daniel Romano says, I think it's always been around. It's like the Force. I love that people compare it to the Force. I think that's really cool because, yes, I like that. I think they're around since the dawn of the entire universe or multiverse. Yes, I agree. 100%. Jaden says, I think the Morphin Masters created the Morphin Grid, then after created the universe to test it. Ooh, I like that. Derek Green says, probably more than 65 million years ago. There was probably around a lot longer. The Dino Fury Rangers were created or were humans before they were Morphin Masters. Or were aliens. Ooh, I like that. Jared thinks maybe 10,000 years. I think it's got to be a little bit longer than that. But yes, guys, I love these comments. Thank you, guys. That's just a little, extra comments from the fans, but I still want to hear what do you guys think. Now that we got all this information about the Morphin Masters and the grid, what exactly do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscription button, and also hit that notification bell to stay in the algorithm. Do you guys support the fan club? You want to help us make our next episode and keep this show running? Well, check out our brand new fan club t-shirts. These are on our Square site. Go check that out. Go check us out on all social media platforms. And thank you for rocking with us, guys.